and I love wine. And today, together, we will meet a lovely lady that you all know and adore, Chardonnay, or as I like to call her, Char. Lady C, Chardy, Chardonnay. Let me just get her real quick, and we'll begin. So without further ado, let's meet Char. We'll discover who she is, where does she come from, what's she like, and what foods match her personality best. Let's throw a quick look at who she is. Our Char is a white grape variety, so you make white wine out of her, and I like to call her Lady of the World, or a cosmopolitan lady, you know. The reason why I call her that is because you can find her on every wine continent. Literally every wine continent that makes wine grows Chardonnay grape variety. She really likes to, I don't know what's up with her, she really likes to travel. She adapts super well to a variety of climates, and that's the main reason why winemakers really like to make wine out of Chardonnay. Winemakers love Chardonnay as well because they can age it in such a variety of different materials, like aging materials. You can age it in oak, it doesn't mind steel tanks, and even concrete.
What?
That's right. You can age it in concrete vats. I'm not even lying to you. Concrete eggs. Yeah, that's a totally legitimate way of aging, a material of aging wine. It can also be in a very different styles. You can encounter a sweet Chardonnay, a dry Chardonnay, of course, just like this babe that I have on my table. And it really thrives in one of the most popular regions in the world, in France, in Champagne. That's right. If you are sipping those bubbly bubbles, and on your bottle of champagne says Blanc de Blanc, you are drinking Chardonnay. Legend has it that this grape variety was born in Burgundy, France. And the reason why the legend says so is because there actually used to be a village called Chardonnay in approximately 17th century in Burgundy, France. And this is where the monks loved to plant this grape variety. And so somehow this is all interconnected, you know. Our Char is still rock and rolling in Burgundy, France. This is where the most world's famous wines come from. And all of the snobs of the wine world know our Chardonnay grape variety not by its actual name, but by the name of very, very confusing places where Chardonnay is grown. You probably heard of such places which are basically impossible to read on a label if you don't come from France. Puligny-Morachet, Chassagne-Morachet, Morceau, Corton-Charlemagne, Chablis. These are the villages where you make white wines exclusively out of Chardonnay grape variety. And these are the most iconic names. But I say snobbish because there's no way to find out that all of these wines are made 100% of Chardonnay. It doesn't say that on the label. They basically want you to know stuff like that. I had to memorize all of this. Sleepless days and sleepless nights trying to pronounce. That's a lie. I learned French when at school, so I was like. All of us normal people, we just know Californian Chardonnay, Char from New Zealand, Chilean Chardonnay, Australian Chardonnay. We know and love them. You can see what's written on the label, and I mean, you know, that's it. Saucy. I mean, salty. It really is a little salty. Okay, so what's she like? You see, this is really depends on still going. really depends on climate, where she grows. Let me break it down for you. There's cool climate and there's warm climate Chardonnays. When I'm talking cool climate, I'm talking about your continental climate with kind of like 4 seasons and stuff like that. Temperature fluctuations, you know the drill. So the best representatives of that cool climate Chardonnays are wines in France. Surprise. In Burgundy. This is considered to be the kingdom of Chardonnay. In the northern part of Burgundy, there is this sub-region which is called Chablis. And this is the wine that I'm sipping right now. So Chablis wines, they are always made of Chardonnay. You are never going to see that on the label. But that's totally fine. You can totally memorize it. And the stylistic of these wines is just, you guys, it's so cool. So think of like razor sharp acidity, bone dry wines. It's so mineral and it's so sharp, so precise on your palate, but it's filled with a lot of citrus fruits. It might seem quite tense. Like think of the acidity of lime, of lemon, of tangerine, of grapefruit skins, of grapefruit zest, and also green apple and pear. Just like the thought of these fruits makes you salivate. Like a bulldog. No, normally salivate. And yeah, so this is usually the stylistic of Chablis or the cool climate Chardonnays. And there's another kind of stylistic of a cool climate Chardonnay. So we're still in France. Let me zoom it out for you. So imagine you're looking at France, and then you're kind of zooming in. In France, there is a region which is called Burgundy. You zoom in further in that region, there is a sub-region of Burgundy, which is called Côte de Beaune. And then you zoom in even more in that sub-region of Côte de Beaune, there are lots and lots of small villages. They are kind of like nestled together like little pearl, like a pearl necklace. And so these villages, I already mentioned them before, these unpronounceable names like Puligny-Morachet, Chassagne-Morachet, and Meursault. They are home to world's most expensive white wines. Here we are more on the smoother side, on the creamy side. And we also have this wonderful tropical fruits. Mango, pineapple, peach, lots of elegant, like toasty aromas. And also, you guys, lots of nuts. Walnut, hazelnut, peanut, almond, all kinds of nuts. Everything is very well mixed. It's just delicious. It's like a meal in a glass. Very complex, many different layers. World's best Chardonnays. So now let's talk about those warmer climate Chardonnays. Australia, New Zealand, and USA, the New World countries. Temperature there would be slightly higher. You don't have this strong seasonality and temperature fluctuations. The berries would ripen super fast, and that means that you just have much more opulent Chardonnay or wine in front of you. More ripeness means usually more richness, much more flavor, usually strong level of alcohol. And I really love New World Chardonnays because they're actually quite price friendly. You don't have to wait for ages to open them. In fact, most of them are corked with a screw cap, so you're just ready to just pour in your glass, give it a couple of swirls, and enjoy all the ripeness, all the broad shoulderness. They're so generous. There's so much energy in them. They are going to be extremely tropical. You know what I mean? Most of them are aged in stainless steel tanks, and that combined with the fact that they receive a lot of sunshine because the temperatures are higher in those countries, that would mean that they just have a lot of tropical fruits to offer, like papaya, like fig, pineapple, mango, all of this richness. They would have this lovely creaminess, so you would have this almost like a tropical yogurt in your mouth. Mango yogurt, pineapple yogurt, slight pastry touch. Think of apple strudel, peach pie. So absolutely delicious. Really a treat in your glass. I'm actually craving one right now. It's not that easy to get them in Europe. There's been a time in history though where the New World wasn't very proudly representing Chardonnay as a grape variety. Winemakers in California absolutely and totally over-oaked their wines. And so instead of having those elegant aromas in your glass, something sophisticated, lots of fruit and acidity, it would just be plain oak, like vanilla and coconut. Oaky beast. I am very happy that that period is over. I mean, okay, let's talk food and wine pairing. Cool climate Chardonnays like this lovely Chablis, I can't help but think oysters, because it has a slightly salty touch in it and quite a lot of acidity. And usually the wines that have quite a lot of acidity, they pair super well with equally acidic dishes. So this is just an absolute treat. Also this oily fish like salmon or halibut. If you have a dish in front of you that is somewhat oily or that has a very rich, creamy sauce, then think of the wine that is high in acidity. And those cool climate Chardonnays are just... love, 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 love. And of course, if this is a Chardonnay that has more, heat or power to it, I would definitely recommend those white meats, baked chicken. And of course, as I mentioned so many times today, she's a dish on her own. Okay, so let's sum it all up. Chardonnay, she is a white grape variety or Char. She thrives in so many different countries. You can find it basically in every wine land in the world. And there are basically two main stylistics between the Chardonnay of cool climate and warm climate. The cool climate, they offer you a little bit more, chill, a bit more of the citrus fruitiness, and the warm climate Chardonnay, they would be more on the tropical side. Chardonnay is a lady that can be enjoyed with so many different foods: lobster, salmon, oyster, baked chicken. Okay, bye you guys. I'm going to see you next week for more wine. This is a Petit Chablis, northern Burgundy, so cooler climate, and it is also made responsibly with respect to nature. Denis and Isabelle, they are just a beautiful couple. They are so passionate and they've won numerous prizes. Isabelle and Denis Pommier for their hard work and their dedication, because they are making one of the best Chablis in the world.